Welcome to Holding Down the Fort, an award-winning podcast show dedicated to curating knowledge, resources, and relevant stories for today's military spouses so they can continue to make confident and informed decisions for themselves and their families. Because let's face it, we know who's really holding down the fort. I'm Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and your host for Holding Down the Fort by U.S. Vet Wealth. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to season 4 of Holding Down the Fort. I am your co-host, Jen Amos, also award-winning podcaster. And I also have my incredible co-host with me, active duty military spouse, mental health advocate, and mom of 2 boys, Jenny Lynn Stroop. Jenny Lynn, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah. And I love that we both are using the same brand of microphones, by the way. Like, I feel like we're twinsies today. So
we're so fancy here at Holding Down the Fort.
We try to be. There's some days, I recently just got a whole new laptop. So because I felt like my internet was like really choppy and I was like, oh, it's not the internet, it's my laptop. Like, never buy, just a tip for everyone, never buy refurbished stuff. You find something wrong with it. And luckily I got a good deal on my new laptop. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is going to be like my audio recording laptop. I won't touch it other than for those reasons. And then I have my throw around like other laptop that I can kind of take with me as I go. But anyway, that's the update on my technology. Not that anyone cared. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest today. We have a Salesforce CRM consultant and mentor, as well as military spouse, Tatiana Cooke. Tatiana, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you, considering how we have a mutual friend. So you know of Kimber Hill with VertForce, and I'm curious to know, how do you two know each other?
Well, we've actually talked before about the program that I've started, Cloud Scouts, which is in place in order to help people get into the Salesforce career field. So it's basically a Salesforce career accelerator. It's 3 weeks long and helps people, military or not, we don't discriminate. Helps people get into the Salesforce ecosystem and get them into good, sustainable jobs.
Mm-hmm. I really, really like that. Although I know that Salesforce is essentially a household name, for people that are hearing about Salesforce for the first time, give us a little summary of what Salesforce is about.
So Salesforce is a cloud software that allows companies, big or small, to manage their accounts and contacts, their leads, their campaigns, anything to do with their business. So basically, Salesforce sells these licenses to companies, just any company that's getting started. And then the opportunity on our side as Salesforce consultants or administrators is to customize that for that particular company. So whether you are, Michelin Tire or, Hulu or Atlanta Braves, or somebody smaller like just a local dog walking company or dog grooming company or nonprofits, it really caters to anybody at any size based off of the licensing structure.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I have to say that I love CRMs. I've definitely gone through like different variations. I mainly started with like the free ones because I was like, well, I don't want to like pay a lot, for it. But I've definitely like upgraded to a program that my husband and I are very satisfied with. And so I appreciate, the value of a CRM system for businesses. And if people don't know what CRM is, which you should know, I'm just kidding, but it stands for Customer Relationship Management. Did I get that correct, Tatiana?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. And it's really what it sounds. It's a way to manage your relationships with your customers. And so I like it. I don't like to remember things, to be quite honest. And so if I can just put things in a CRM, if I can just make a note, and not even just like for transactional reasons, but even just saying like, oh, so-and-so's birthday is on this day. Let me go ahead and put that in my CRM. And so that I get reminded that it's their birthday or it's about to be their birthday. And maybe I can send them something nice. Now, I definitely I don't practice that right now. So I guess I should tell myself to do that. But it's little details like that, right? Where it's like, it's more than just, the transactional side. Would you like to elaborate more on that? Because I've definitely brought people on the show who are, small business owners or solopreneurs, independent contractors who are starting in business or they do have a business. Talk a little bit about the benefits of a CRM if they don't even have one yet.
So CRMs help keep track of any of your prospective customers, so your leads. So if you meet somebody on a plane or you're getting leads from your website, from a contact us form or something like that, it'll put it into the system.
Well, my sister actually works for Salesforce. So this is she's an internal, my sister's the internal event planner for Salesforce. So she's the one that plans all the fun, fancy trips that all of the people who sell the most Salesforce platforms or however that works goes to. She's like the event person. And we've also been looking at Salesforce for work because of the work that I do. And it's fun because we've talked to Salesforce about how to, I think what I've found difficult about CRMs is that they are in fact meant for sales. And as someone who does outreach, which is very salesy, but doesn't have the same terminology, like, you know, we don't have leads per se, or like certain products or whatever. And it's been really helpful. Salesforce has a great program to really customize it for the user and go through the training to say, you know, okay, so you guys do outreach. If you want to figure out who your biggest grant funders are, these are the buttons you need to push, because the terminology isn't the same, but it'll do what you want, which has been fun to learn.
Yeah. Well, I learned something new about you, Jenny Lynn. I didn't know you had a sister. So that's a new fun fact for me. 2 sisters. Wow. Do you have any brothers? Is this all sisters?
Oldest.
Wow, it's amazing. Oh, wow. That's incredible. So you got the most of it, I imagine, from your parents. I say that in all respects to your parents in case they listen to the show. So Tatiana, just kind of pick up where you left off. You know, we were talking, so Jenny Lynn was sharing kind of her experience or her knowledge of Salesforce and the fact that her sister worked for Salesforce. So is there anything you want to add upon that before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of, you know, the benefits of a CRM?
Yeah. So I always say this. I always say that Salesforce is kind of like Excel on steroids, because it puts everything into a relational database. So instead of having to have 6 different tabs and then these macros or formulas and things like that, Salesforce is really easy to customize. And you can go from not having a system to having an incredibly robust system in as little as 4 weeks. And so the training that I provide really helps people understand what it is to be a Salesforce administrator and what it is to be a Salesforce consultant.
Awesome. I love it. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that, because I know that you actively focus on helping people get into technology careers and have the flexibility to work remotely. And obviously, I'm assuming this is through Salesforce. So tell us a little bit about that. You know, I mean, what even is a technology career? You know, maybe that can help spark our listeners' interest and think, oh, that might be for me.
Yeah, so there are a couple misconceptions here. First off, that everybody that works on Salesforce is working for Salesforce. And so that's sort of a misconception with the software technology as well. So a lot of times Salesforce builds the system and sells the licenses, but there's people that work at particular companies as Salesforce administrators. So they help develop that technology for that particular company. Or you can work at a small consulting company where you maybe have 2 or 3 different customers that your consulting company gave you, and you make sure that they're happy with their implementation. You keep up with them and log your hours. Or you can work with a large consulting company, which is where I'm working right now at Accenture Federal. And then you just work with one major client and help them in developing their software. So that's one thing. And then the second thing about being in technology is some people think that you need to code. And that is one thing that Salesforce allows, is that we don't need to code. Everything that we do is what's called declarative, which is point and click. So basically adding new fields so that they can track, you know, the breed of the dog, or maybe the temperament of the dog. If we're talking about maybe somebody that grooms animals, you know, you want to know, you know, what kind of dog you're going to be engaging, what maybe a description of what the owner would like to see with that particular dog in the grooming session. And then we also create automation, but again, it's only by clicks and there's no code involved. There are developers, and you can move on to become a developer if that's what you want. But everything that we do, you can do it with clicks, just like you can with a lot of these new softwares that are out there.
I like it. Sounds very user-friendly and customizable to the user, you know, to work for them. Kind of like how Jenny Lynn was mentioning with, you know, their company. It's not like, at least in Jenny Lynn's position, she's not necessarily doing sales, And maybe sometimes with a lot of these CRMs, they already kind of have their set terms, I'm assuming that you do sales. So I think it's really astounding that you really make it customizable, depending on the business and what their goals are for their clients.
Yep. And the other thing is that it adheres to different departments. So whether you're in marketing, whether you're in sales, whether you're in services and you're processing, issue tickets or what have you, Salesforce is really one-stop shop for all of your needs. And that's what they try to do. They've been around for about 15 years and they've been purchasing all of these add-ons. They just bought Tableau, which is a really amazing AI reporting tool, and integrating it into their product offering. And so, the training that I do, I've been doing it for 8 years, just independently on my own at night, with friends and family. But this year I've actually gone on to do it more formally with my company called cloudscouts.com. And with Cloud Scouts, the way that the training works is that I make no assumptions. And we have people that are right out of school. Right now in my current class, I have a 71-year-old man and a 61-year-old woman. So it doesn't matter from where. It just matters that you have a propensity to want to learn and you have a passion for doing it. So the first week of the course is really just how to use the software, why companies are using it, and just the best practices to manage your leads, your accounts, your contacts, your deals, your cases, and just really the best practice on why companies use the software and why it is so critical to somebody's growth, right? Because we can't just work on spreadsheets forever because it's not sustainable. And then the second week, we go into the back end. So we start to say, how do I add a new field here so that they can start tracking this? Or how do I change the page layout so that it makes more sense? Those sort of custom configurations that are all declarative, meaning that you just have to point and click, just like you would point and click in Facebook or anywhere else that you're pointing and clicking on a computer. And then the third week is test prep. So we do a lot of questions and answering and talking through practice questions because we want people to get comfortable and familiar with the, test taking skills. Some people haven't taken tests since, they went out of school or college. And so that is really critical for the training. There is a certification that sort of culminates with this, which is a Salesforce provided certification. It is $200 and it's 60 questions. And I think you only need to get like 40 right. And then if for whatever reason you don't pass on your first time, I didn't pass on my first time 8 years ago, but for whatever reason, if you don't pass on your first time, it's $100 retake. And so that is really my passion, is for people to get this hard skill, because I came out of a business school and didn't really have any hard skills, right? It's like I can do Excel, I can do PowerPoint, but I don't have something that sets me apart. And Salesforce, is a hard skill. They have about 4.2 million jobs coming up in the next 5 to 10 years. It's on my website. The exact numbers are on my website, but the growth is incredible. And then the flexibility to work from home and have that work-life balance is the second thing that makes it such a great, incredible opportunity.
I do have a question, but just thought I'd check in with Jenny Lynn, see if you had any thoughts.
I'm fascinated to learn. This is all, though my sister works for the company, she doesn't do this side of Salesforce. And so I am enjoying listening because all of these words are new for me and I don't have a ton of business hard skills. I'm a PowerPoint, Excel, Word document master, but CRM is all new. So fascinated to hear all about it.
Yeah, I love it. So Tatiana, I am curious to know, you've been working with them for 8 years now is what I'm hearing. For the military spouse that is kind of looking for that type of job, tell us like how much maybe you kind of appreciated the lifestyle of having to work remotely from what it sounds like with Salesforce. Like, how does that look like for you? And how much do you maybe, let's say, appreciate Salesforce for allowing you that opportunity, right?
Yeah. So working on software like Salesforce, my days are a little bit crazy. I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. The 4-year-old was crying a minute ago, but really, as long as my clients are happy and as long as my customers are happy or my manager, I've done the work that needs to be done. It doesn't matter if I stayed up all night doing it or did it in the morning. It doesn't matter. And I can really manage my calls as well.
Easy, customizable, and delicious. Mixology isn't just for exclusive cocktail lounges anymore, thanks to Jab Mixology, which is actually run by a military spouse, Christy Lawler, who is also a guest on our show. You can learn more about her by checking out episode 40 of Holding Down the Fort back in May 2015, 2020. Wow, that was a while ago. All right, anyway, the Jab Mixology blends are as unique to each other as our customers' individual tastes. Pick your favorite blend, pour the mix into the jar, and add your favorite spirit, and in 2 hours, you have an aromatic cocktail base that elevates beautifully with your favorite mixer. So their proprietary 3-piece strainer lid system allows for perfect infusions and strains, and spirit leaving the sediment in the jar where it belongs. Best of all, there is no bartending experience required. One thing I really like about this, what JAB actually stands for, JAB, is to just add booze. Of course, if you want to make tea as well, that is also an option. So if you are interested in making homemade cocktails or tea for yourself, visit jabmixology.com. That's JAB as in just add booze, mixology.com, and use promo code THEFORT, which is spelled THEFORT, at checkout for a free single refill of every Jab jar. Once again, when you visit jabmixology.com, use the promo code THEFORT at checkout for a free single refill for every Jab jar. Thank you, Christy, so much for this special promo for our listeners here at Holding Down the Fort.
So, it's hectic, but I get up, I get ready, I get the kids to school, and then I come home and I work, and then I pick up one kid, and then I work some more, and I might be on a phone call as I'm driving, or I might be on vacation and still taking calls. So it's really nice because I have that flexibility. And in the military, you never know when you're going to have that minute with your husband. You know that, girls. Like, you never know if he's coming home, if he's not coming home, if they're going to let him know.
Yeah.
And so it just allows you that flexibility to work whenever you need to. And the ability to be a mom and be a contributing member of your household, I just don't know what gets better than that. It's the best thing ever. And I want it for everybody. That's my biggest passion, is I want people to have that work-life balance and to be independent and feel strong and feel like they're contributing in a meaningful way. Because one of the biggest issues with us as military spouses is that we're moving. I used to live in Virginia Beach, and then I lived in Dallas, and then I lived in San Antonio, and now I'm in North Carolina at Fort Bragg. And you don't have that continuity, and you don't have that peace of mind, and you don't have that career sometimes. And this is what it is. Salesforce is a career. It is a career. And it's not, a get rich quick scheme. It's a hard skill with a career, with a lot of demand that makes you feel invaluable, even though you've, committed your life to this person that you love that's in the military, a man or woman. You still feel like you can contribute. And I think that it can help with, just how you feel about yourself and how you feel about where you are and what you stand for and what you contribute and what you have for yourself outside of your marriage and being a military spouse.
I just feel like I need to take your entire bit. And this is like the reason why people should work remotely, or this is the benefits of working remotely and knowing that it's possible to have a career. Jenny Lynn, I saw you nodding a lot. So just, as always, I need to check in with you if there's anything you want to add.
I mean, she nailed what it's like to be a military spouse and try to have a career. As someone who had a more traditional career path prior to what I do now, I mean, I was a teacher. You have to license in every state. It's several $100s every time you move. And it's, depending on what state you're in, it's a several month-long process. And by the time you get your license and have paid all that money to get a job, you're probably already up for new orders again. And you just have to. Yeah. And so to have the flexibility to do something that literally moves with you, because it doesn't matter where you are, is super important as a military spouse. And all the same, I mean, I went several years where I didn't have a job outside my house, and they were really hard because I've worked since I was 13. I've always done something. And to go from being a well-educated person with a master's making real money to staying at home with two toddlers wasn't the best mental health space for me.
Right.
So to have the ability to do something that not only boosts your family income, but also, helps you kind of be who you really are is super helpful. And I guess my question to you is, did you come in through like the Vet Force program? Like I know Salesforce has a military component to what they do.
Yeah. No, I did not. What happened to me was honestly probably what happens to a lot of people. But I think like a month after I graduated college, I was starting my family. I was like, hey, Mom, I waited, but and then we moved to Dallas and my parents' company was using it. They had their own company and they were using the software and the licenses were so expensive. And I was like, well, we need to use this. And so within 6 months, I figured out how to put all of their contact information, their customer information, their sensitive data, manipulate the program so that they could pretty much do all of the processes that they were doing in Excel spreadsheets in Salesforce. And I really saw the value and the opportunity that had. And my husband wasn't even in the military at the time. So it was really great to get that experience.
Yeah. I just want to add upon that. I think to the average spouse who may not be aware yet that there are remote career opportunities out there, this is a dream come true, right? I mean, it's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I can have a career, I can work remotely, I can take this with me, I can be flexible and it's very flexible hours and I can still find that balance with my family and my, and everything is wow. I mean, it sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah. And I haven't even discussed the compensation. The compensation is really what's crazy. So, I mean, currently just making 6 figures for clicking around in a system all day. I mean, I don't want to put it lightly, but I had a manager tell me that. And he's like, yeah, you get paid really well just to click around in a system all day. And I said, yeah, I actually do, and
I love it.
And if you decide to do independent contracting, you get paid $200 an hour. So even if you don't want to work full time for a company, and as military spouses, we kind of have that flexibility because we don't need benefits because we have benefits with our spouses, but you could be working full time, just get a customer or two. Or like I said, you could work at a company or you could work at a consulting company. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Just please look up Salesforce Administrator on Indeed.com and then see how many job postings there are every day. I think the minute that I put my certification on LinkedIn, that week I had 3 job offers.
Wow.
And people are reaching out to you. You're not sitting there filling out hours and hours and hours and hours of applications trying to see if somebody will contact you, And once you have that certification online, your inbox and your LinkedIn messages will not stop.
Wow. I feel like having the hard skills nowadays is sort of the new college degree. I mean, not obviously like I have a degree, Jenny Lynn has 2 degrees, so I'm not trying to minimize degrees in any way. But I feel like, we have this idea that, when we graduate, like we're assumed to get a job. But it seems like nowadays, or at least in this situation, it's like having that hard skill is a great way to attract employers. They know that you are specialized in something, right? And so that is something that is pretty, I don't know, it gives me hope, for our community, Tatiana, and I very much appreciate you being on today to talk about this. So other than looking up Salesforce Administrator on Indeed.com, are there other ways people can learn more about these opportunities, other ways that they can apply?
Yeah, so there are a ton of free resources. As I said, there's millions and millions and millions of jobs that are coming out of this software and this application that all companies are using. And the first thing I would want to point people to is trailhead.com. So just like you're going hiking in the mountains, trailhead.com is a free resource. It's free modules for people to start learning Salesforce. You just go in there and you can just do admin beginner and you can start doing trails there. Also, as military, we have this additional benefit, which is military trailblazers. And you can look up military trailblazers on Google and go to their website, but they actually they pay for all your certifications. There's 21 certifications. I do want to put that out there. The career growth and the career path for this is like immense. So if you want to go into marketing, if you want to go into retail, if you want to go into customer service, whatever it is that you might have a propensity for or a background for or an interest in, Salesforce sort of allows you that flexibility to get into that sort of job. So yeah, trailhead.com and then Military Trailblazers, they offer training. And then the Maravis Foundation is also a small nonprofit out of Austin. And they also provide cohorts once in a while, not once in a while, but ever so often, a couple of times a year. It's just limited space. So that's the one thing. But with Cloud Scouts, we're coming up with a program that I think would help put people into that chair, into what it would be like as an administrator or an analyst, to sort of give them that sense, because it's still hard to grasp what somebody would do in that role, even after discussing it.
Yeah. Is there any way people can fail? I mean, because I feel like this is like such a great opportunity.
No way to fail. My biggest quote to everybody is, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Because I didn't pass my first time and I cried. And my husband was like, why are you crying? He's like, nobody cares. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm not in trouble, That's true. And so I didn't pass my certification, my first one. I think I have like 4 or 5 certifications now, but I didn't pass it the first time. And I just, picked up my big girl panties and signed up for it 2 months later. I think it was my birthday when I actually took that test and was crying.
Oh, that's probably.
Yeah.
You're like, this is not the birthday present I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I took it in December and then I signed up again. My biggest thing for people is get involved in the community. There's groups, there's Salesforce groups in every single country, in every single state, in every single city. So you can also look up Salesforce admin groups, Salesforce developer groups, get in there, start going to their meetings once a month or whenever they're holding it. They have Salesforce Saturdays where people go in and do modules together and get to know each other. Somebody brings coffee. So get ingrained. It's free. Everybody there is excited and helpful as I am. We're all in this together. We all want people to succeed. And so networking, and then finally sign up for that test. I didn't do any of my certifications without signing up for the test, because then you have to prioritize that time. And that's my biggest advice to everybody, is just sign up for the certification. And like I said, it's $200, but if you go through the Military Trailblazer program, it's free and there's always discount codes. I'll send you a couple that I have right now.
Yeah, please.
So that
you
can put those on your website.
Send it all. Well, I know what my next career is going to be if podcasting fails and I divorce my husband. That's not happening. But I'm just saying, if stuff hits the fan, I think I know what I'm going to look into
mental
next.
Health. Here's our plug for mental health one more time.
Yeah. Thank God for couples counseling. Jenny Lynn, any thoughts?
No, I appreciate the ease with which you explained that thing. If I'm being completely honest, there were still words you used that I'm like, still fundamentally at 38 years old with 2 college degrees, that is really still very much over my head. But I mean, I do appreciate you talking about all the resources. Salesforce does have an extraordinary amount of things. And I think for someone like me, I almost find that a little too overwhelming. So I appreciate you kind of narrowing it down, especially for the military community, like here are 3 hard and fast to go to. I'll also just throw a plug out there that within the Salesforce network, the trips that they send people on, because my sister is the trip planner, are freaking amazing. I have been trying to figure out a way to like join her on one of those for years. Now that I don't have toddlers, it might be a little easier to like come before or come after and hang out in all the cool cities she goes to. So, I mean, there for sure is a lot of opportunity there.
Tell her you're getting your Salesforce certification and that you need to come on the next trip.
Oh my God. So funny. There you go. That's it. That's all we need. Wow. Well, Tatiana, you are a valuable resource to our community. Is there anything else, any other things you want to give away or share with us for our listeners here at Holding Down the Fort?
That's what I want to give away. I want to give everyone here an outlet for any despair, any mental health issues that they've been having, any questions about, who they are, or what they're doing, or how they're contributing. This career field can work for everybody. It works wonders. And the demand is so high. I mean, if you, for whatever reason, don't like a position, you can jump to the next one in 2.5 seconds or come back around. So it really puts the power in your hands. And that's why I love empowering people with these capabilities.
Wow. Ooh, well, we already shared a couple of links already, but is there any other links you want to throw our way? Obviously, you can email me all of this and I'll include in the show notes, but anything else? I think we covered all our bases, right?
Yes, I think this is a great podcast to listen to and sort of listen about what the opportunity. Go to trailhead.com, maybe listen to some YouTube videos for military trailblazers. They used to be called Vet Force, so maybe look at that. And feel free to reach out on LinkedIn, Tatiana Cooke, and with an E for excellence. And yeah, I'm here to help. I want you to succeed.
I love it. I'm so inspired. Like there are people that want to help. They do exist. Awesome. Well, Tatiana, thank you again so much for your time here today. I'm sure that we'll have some listeners probably reach out to you sooner than later. And Jenny Lynn, any closing thoughts from you before I do my closing statement that's always readily available for me now because I'm organized?
Yay. No, I think Tatiana shared all of the information everybody needs.
Fantastic. Awesome. All right. Well, with that said, to our listeners, we hope that today's episode gave you one more piece of knowledge, resource, or relevant story so you can continue to make confident and informed decisions for you and your family. We look forward to speaking with you in the next episode. Until then, tune in next time.